This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
First at 11, a cold night will turn into an even colder morning when you leave for work or school. Good evening to you. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starntino. School delays are at the bottom of your screen right now.
And Kevin is tracking morning temperatures in the single digits. Kevin.
We will not have record temperatures, but we will have not been this cold in 93 days across central Indiana. We're 13 now. It's the wind that really changes the game. That's going to drive our wind chills as cold as 10 below by morning. 13, that's a current temperature in Indy. Anywhere just to the northwest of Indy, already falling into the single digits. Metro area temperatures 10 to 15 degrees right now. The flurries, they're hanging in there. That's just a sign of that Arctic air getting any little drop of moisture out that we can. Northwest of Indy, skies are clearing. So the flurries ending, single digits everywhere, and that wind chill about 10 below first thing in the morning. It's been since November 12th, or November 12th, the temperatures dropped to 8 degrees. Coldest air just to the northwest, Lafayette 2 above tomorrow morning, Frankfurt at 3, otherwise single digits for central and southern portions of the state, closer to 10 degrees. So sunshine will help us recover tomorrow, but we still only hit 19. The dramatic temperature change, though, that comes over the weekend.
3 years ago tonight, two families were still holding on to hope that their daughters would be found. The memories of Abby Williams and Libby German still linger throughout their community in Delphi and Carroll County. February 13th, 2017 is the last time the girls were seen alive. They were dropped off at a trail to go walking. When they did not come back when they were supposed to, a massive search began and lasted for hours. At that time, everyone thought the girls had gotten lost on the trails. But the next day, the girls were found dead, less than a mile from where they were dropped off. In the time since then, thousands of tips have poured in, but still, no one has been arrested for the murders. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows us how their community is keeping the memory of Abby and Livy alive.
You can't go anywhere in this town without seeing the love and support for Abby and Libby along with their families. Here at the Delphi United Methodist Church, they hosted a food drive. The families of the two girls invited people to remember them by giving back to the community. This is just one of several events that have been held over the years, all of them put on to remember the young lives lost too soon. Back here at the church, after donating food, some people stayed and came together in the sanctuary. They prayed for everyone impacted by this horrific crime, and also that one of these days, whoever killed these two young girls will be found and brought to justice. Working for you in Delphi, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
A lot of hope left there. As the case remains unsolved, investigators say people sharing speculation and rumors could possibly do more to hurt the investigation than help it. In April of 2019, police released a new sketch of the possible suspect and clarified that this is not a photograph but a composite based on witness accounts. Investigators also asked for help identifying the driver of a vehicle parked near the trail where Libby and Abby were last seen. You can find all of the details about the cases that have been shared by officials right now on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. You can also find contact information if you know anything.
Tonight, more pushback at an open house as Indigo unveils new details for its proposed Purple Line rapid transit route. It's part of the massive overhaul of mass transit for the metro area. The new route would connect Lawrence to downtown Indianapolis. RTV6's Cameron Riddle explains why people are at odds over this next phase of the rapid transit system.
The Red Line has been running for several months now and is starting to run like a well-oiled machine. And now Indigo is turning its attention to the Purple Line, which some residents say creates problems and others say it creates solutions.
It's chaos in that they have not thought out the entire plan.
The latest design shows changes to the eventual Purple Line. Previous plans routed buses along Meridian Street as they navigate downtown. But an updated design shifts the buses over to Capitol Avenue, where Red Line buses are already running. Purple and Red Line buses would follow each other from downtown to 38th Street and College Avenue. The Purple Line would then continue down East 38th Street to Post Road and into Lawrence. The design calls for large portions of those streets to be converted from 4 lanes of all cars to 1 bus lane and 1 car lane in each direction.
I think it's a major reduction in efficiency because you are allowing buses or bus lanes to constrict the flow of traffic.
Lifelong Indianapolis resident Brian White says taking lanes away from cars is unfair to the people who pay for those roads.
I just wish that people like myself who are paying wheel tax, surtax, license plate tax, we would flow freely through the city as opposed to being constricted because they're creating artificial choke points in terms of traffic congestion.
Indigo projects the 15-mile rapid transit line will reduce transit times by more than 25%. That's welcome news to Taylor Firestein, who hasn't owned a car in 5 years and currently uses the Red Line to get around town.
I do think the problems that the Red Line has had, I think, have been a bit overblown. As someone who rides the Red Line almost daily, really there haven't been major issues that have, screwed up my schedule.
Firestein would like to remind mass transit critics that the people on the bus are taxpayers too. And if you ask him, it's time for those citizens to get their fair share.
I just think right now it's a totally uneven playing field as far as transportation options in Marion County. People are used to the car culture here, and I think it's time to have a change in that thought process.
Working for you in Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Well, construction on the Purple Line is set for 2021 and is scheduled to be in full operation by the year 2023. The total project is budgeted at $155 million. Boys and Girls Club members will have a safe ride after school thanks to an important donation. Today, the Finish Line Youth Foundation donated a bus to the organization that you see here. The Boys and Girls Club says its location on Post Road near 38th Street is in one of the most challenged neighborhoods in Indianapolis.
We want to make sure that we take all the barriers away from serving our kids. We recognize that parents are very busy, going to work, going to school, trying to take care of their families. But again, having a bus and dependable transportation is going to ensure that our kids have access to the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Even though things are all pretty close together here on the Far East Side, I mean, if you still have to walk 6 blocks or a mile or something just to get to the club, you may end up doing something different and having some different options. And what our goal needs to be is to get those kids to the club so that the Boys and Girls Clubs can work their magic.
The bus will also be used to take kids on field trips and to other activities outside of the club.
Today, RTV6 witnessed some of that Boys and Girls Club magic. A program called Power Huddle wrapped up today. Power Huddle helps young people chart a path to a positive future. Over 2 weeks, they talk about their goals and how to achieve them. They also learn the importance of simple life skills like getting up for work on time. Graduates shared why they feel this program is special.
Sometimes they get individual with you so they can let you know or hear your side of the story or hear your life story, and so they can help you out in your life story so they can get closer to you and help you with the things you need help with. So, and that's what I like best about this program. It's just not just a group program, it gets personal.
The Power Huddle program is for people ages 16 to 24. After graduating, participants are enrolled in Yes Indy, which stands for Youth Employment System.
The search continues at this hour for a man considered armed and dangerous. James Taylor, who you see, is wanted for questioning in recent bank robberies in Marion County. We told you about one case last month at the First Third Bank on College Avenue near 86th Street on the north side. In that robbery, the suspect wore a distinct Indianapolis Indians hat. In another case, he wore construction gear. Investigators say if you see Taylor, do not approach him. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI at 317-595-4000. New at 11, a Boone County pediatrician accused of committing sex crimes against children in his care is found guilty on all charges. A jury convicted Dr. Jonathan Cavins of child molestation, sexual misconduct with a minor, and child seduction. 5 victims came forward in this case.
A judge is set to decide whether to accept a guilty plea withdrawal in a high-profile case on February 27th. Devin Seeds was scheduled to be sentenced today in the 2017 murder of Dr. Kevin Rogers. Instead, he he announced he is withdrawing his plea. Last month, the 19-year-old signed a plea agreement admitting to breaking into Dr. Rogers' home on the Northwest Side and killing him. Now there are legal questions surrounding whether Seitz can backtrack. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears says the Rogers family is heartbroken.
I've been with this case literally from the day it was filed, and just having that relationship with the Rogers family and just seeing what they've gone through, it really just breaks your heart. But we're always going to act in the best interest of the case, and we'll move forward as in whatever way the judge deems appropriate.
If the judge accepts Seitz' withdrawal, he would have to go on trial.
Police are working to learn more about a deadly shooting on the east side of Indianapolis. Investigators found a man with critical injuries on Sherman Drive near Washington Street around 7 o'clock this evening. He later died at the hospital. No other information has been released.
RTV6 is working for you to hold the state accountable when it comes to protecting babies and mothers. Last year, Governor Eric Holcomb signed the OB Navigator program into law. It commits $3.3 million to connect women in high-risk maternal and infant mortality areas with critical prenatal care services. The program is just now getting off the ground. This week, Call 6 Investigates went to Fort Wayne in Allen County, one of the first of 20 counties to have an OB Navigator, and the program finds and contacts women who are enrolled in Medicaid and connects them with providers and services like Healthier Moms and Babies. Tiffany Jackson benefited from that service.
I don't think anyone can go through a pregnancy alone, no matter how strong you are, how independent you are. I don't think that you could ever get through it alone. I don't know how many times I told myself that, oh yeah, I would be okay, I could do this by myself. There's no way I would have been able to do it by myself.
Last year, Healthier Moms and Babies received about 1,500 referrals from community partners. So far, they have received a handful of referrals from the OB Navigator. Madison, Delaware, Henry, and Grant counties are next in line for the program.
New and next here at 11, the White House responds to critical comments made by the Attorney General about the president's tweets.
And you will not have to visit the airport to get Shake Shack in central Indiana. The new location announced today. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Will be epic. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
New at 11, the White House is responding to comments made by Attorney General William Barr. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Barr shared a message for the president and the public. ABC's Serena Marshall reports from Washington.
The Attorney General trying to temper complaints that President Trump was having an undue influence on the Justice Department to go easy on his friend and longtime political advisor, Roger Stone.
Did you talk to the president at all about your decision regarding the recommendations? Never.
In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Bill Barr emphatic the decision by senior Justice Department officials to reverse the recommendation of a 7 to 9 year prison sentence for Stone made by 4 career justice prosecutors had nothing to do with the president's unhappy tweet that had come just hours before the DOJ announced the reversal.
I had made a decision that I thought was fair and reasonable in this particular case. And once the tweet occurred, the question is, well, now what do I do? And do you go forward with what you think is the right decision, or do you pull back because of the tweet?
Stone was convicted by a jury of witness tampering, lying to Congress, and obstructing a congressional investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election.
They ought to go back to school and learn, because I'll tell you, with the way they treated people, nobody should be treated like that.
Barr saying Thursday the president shouldn't interfere in the DOJ, and he's prepared for criticism for speaking out against his boss.
And I'm not going to be bullied or influenced by anybody. I cannot do my job here at the department with a constant background commentary that undercuts me.
The White House saying in a statement, the president wasn't bothered by the comments at all, and he has the right, just like any American citizen, to publicly offer his opinions. As the chief judge of the D.C. court releases a rare statement saying they base their decisions on the case record, not public criticism or pressure.
The Attorney General is set to be grilled by members on Capitol Hill from the House Judiciary Committee on March 31st. And you can expect them to ask him questions not just about Roger Stone and what they see as undue influence by the president, but also about the pathway set up for Rudy Giuliani when it comes to Ukraine information. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Construction is expected to wrap up in June on the project to transform White River State Park. A new permanent stage for concerts and events is being installed. Leaders say upgrades are needed to continue attracting top talent to the venue. Permanent seats, restrooms, and a ticket office are also being added. The first concert is scheduled for July 5th. Construction is set to start sometime this year on a Shake Shack in Fishers. Today, the popular restaurant chain announced it will open a new location on 116th Street. Last year, the company announced it's coming to Indianapolis International Airport. That's expected to open sometime this summer.
I'm so excited because I've always heard about Shake Shack. I've never been in an area with one.
You'll love it.
Finally.
Yeah. Life is going to change, young lady.
I'm going to be coming in with burgers all the time for you guys.
All right.
That's what that means.
Promise, right?
From shake to shiver.
That's
one thing we'll talk about here. 40 school delays, 2-hour delays for tomorrow morning. Some rural roads still kind of shaky because of the roads with the snow. If you go off to the northwest, rural areas had a little more snow, 3 to 4 inches yesterday. Clear sky now. That sets the stage for these temperatures to continue to fall, pushing, I would say, 0 in some spots. Monticello, Logansport, Lafayette, down to about 2, Williamsport, Attica, Fowler. And then to the south and east, the clouds are still in place, and these little ribbons of flurries that don't want to give up. They're not going to cause much of a problem, but just an indication that we're getting all the moisture out of the atmosphere. 8 degrees with a 5 below wind chill in Lafayette. 5 below is what it feels like in Peru and Indianapolis. Temperatures will continue to fall until they reach about 5 degrees in Indy, 2 above in Lafayette. As I mentioned, oddly enough, it was November 12th that we went down to 8 degrees. We weren't that cold again in December or January. Here we'll go below that in February. Low temperatures, although they hit rock bottom tomorrow morning, it doesn't last that long. Look what happens. We step into the teens Saturday morning, Sunday morning, 32 for the low. If temperatures are warming up that much for low temperatures, you would expect the same for high temperature trend, and we certainly have that. Sunday we'll be back to 43 degrees. Tomorrow, one of the benefits, the cold, dry air, will be clear skies. We'll have lots of sunshine tomorrow. That will not boost the temperature much. We'll stay in the teens for your afternoon high. If you have evening dinner plans tomorrow, Valentine's Day, temperatures in the teens, no issues, dry. The wind won't be as strong. But after midnight tomorrow night into Saturday morning, we'll see these overnight lows start to come back up a bit. Clouds will increase Saturday. As you go through the day, Saturday temperature by noon 31. Afternoon high not quite to 40, but we're close. Just to show you the afternoon clouds increasing. Watch the gray there slide in. If you're headed toward Michigan, there'll be some snow along the state line with Indiana and Michigan. There are the temperatures Saturday, kind of setting the tone for Sunday, where we'll warm up a little bit more, then push 50 degrees both Monday and Tuesday. Here's your forecast. We'll have these flurries diminish tonight. Very cold in the morning. Sunshine leads the way Friday to 19 degrees, 43 Sunday. Then we're in the 40s Monday and Tuesday, warm enough that we'll have rain showers around. Dave is smiling. That tells me something.
Good news if you're an IU fan, Kevin. Thanks. Good evening. Really, if not now, maybe never. After losing 4 straight, the Hoosiers needing a win at home, considering 4 of the next 5 are on the road, hosting 21st ranked Iowa tonight. Danny Green, the LA Laker, on his all-star break, checking out his little brother Devontae. He didn't start tonight, but made up for lost time. Dude was on fire. A couple of threes from the near corner, and he just didn't hesitate. Got the ball and chucked it. Devontae Green making Big Brother proud. More from him in a second. Still in the first. Watch the freshman down low. Center Grove's Trace Jackson Davis. Spin move in the paint. He had 17 and 9 boards. IU up 16. One more from Devontae. The pull-up from beyond NBA range. IU had to hold him off at the end, but got a big dub. 89-77. Devontae, team-high 26. Luka Garza had a game-high 38 for Iowa.
For the most part, our team, handled what we needed to. We're handling a little bit of adversity like all teams in our league are right now, but you're always one win away from the next one. So for us, this is a good one. Get back on the winning track and we got to get ready to go. We're going to Michigan on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it. It's All-Star Weekend now in Chicago, which means the countdown to All-Star Weekend in Indy picks up. It'll happen a year from now. But first things first, Brad Brown covering Domas Sabonis' trip to the Windy City. His reports begin tomorrow. Finally tonight, first and foremost, from Daytona. Dual qualifying races tonight, setting the field for Sunday's 500. Brad Keselowski climbing in. He finished fourth in that first duel. Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney tangled up. Those nights are done, and for Suarez, the weekend's over. Did not make the show on Sunday. In the end, a little beating and banging further back, but Joey Logano with the win, so he'll start third on Sunday inside of row 2. Eric Almirola behind him. Race number 2 then tonight. Alex Bowman starting from pole. Final lap, a little contact between Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch. Kevin Harvick there on the low side, but all that allowed William Byron to stay out front, and the Hendrick Motorsports driver gets the win in duel number 2. He'll start on the outside of row 2 on Sunday. J.J. Yaley among those who did not make this year's Daytona 500. It looks a little warmer in Daytona than
just a little bit.
Yeah. You notice that?
I don't know if they're really comfortable.
I don't know what that is.
It was nice to look at. We'll be right back.
Busy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
A new program will help diversify the companies that help build and develop Indianapolis. Today, city business and economic leaders announced the Growing with Accelerated Payment program. It's a development program to help minority, women, veteran, and disability-owned contractors bid on city contracts. A recent study found those businesses face barriers like lack of mentorship and access to capital. The GAP program will provide business coaching and professional development classes.
Now to a growing movement that could create new jobs, but not on a large scale. Sustainability efforts in the fashion industry are changing the way clothes are made. ABC's Elena Gomez explains the meaning behind slow fashion.
So I'm going to do the hem of the garment.
Each piece of clothing at Haley Solar's namesake shop is hand-sewn inside her Los Angeles boutique. She also sources locally from vendors who have a surplus of unused fabric.
For me, it was never a choice to get into a slow fashion business. It was just there wasn't another way, because this is what I do and this is how I make clothing.
Solar's boutique is an example of a fashion brand with a slow fashion mentality, creating clothing locally and in small quantities. It's a shift from the so-called fast fashion process, where brands mass-produce clothing many times for a fraction of the cost.
We have companies that are now pumping new product into their stores 52 times a year. That's every single week you can go to the store and pick up something new.
Naomi Goez, a sustainable fashion advocate, says the term sustainable is still hard to define in the fashion industry.
What's something that shoppers will notice a difference in when they buy from a brand like yours that is a part of slow fashion?
First of all, they're going to not only find pieces that are incredibly unique, because in slow fashion, we only make a smaller quantity of items, so you're not going to see it at every store. But also, you'll notice that the fit is going to be a little bit better.
In addition to designing clothes, Haley teaches sewing classes in her studio, educating people on the hard work behind each item they wear and the power in our clothing choices.
When they realize how long it takes, how much skill, how much patience, then they start to question why the top they are wearing was so inexpensive, and they really start to value the craft.
Elena Gomez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Let's give you a live look from our roads at the NDOT traffic camera showing you right now. Take it easy out there as temperatures dip. We'll be right back.
Weekend only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
And don't forget, check the RTV6 app or website, or hopefully you've been looking at the bottom of the screen. If you have a 2-hour delay, take advantage of it. Don't get up early and find out later.
Stay up late.
You got it. Stay up 2 hours later, and then you'll be on time.
It all evens out.
Single-digit temperatures in the morning. Sunshine is probably the coolest thing I can say, pardon the pun, about tomorrow. It'll be nice to see it.
Cuddle
Sunshine
weather
will be nice.
and a 2-hour delay.
Can't ask for anything more.
And
Happy Valentine's Day.
Where are you going with this?
Home. Good night.
Bye.
Just like that.
Good night.
Good night.